the People Podcast of the DMV. It's not about you, it's not about me, it's about we and God we trust. Sir Rod and Lady Z, PTP. Welcome everybody. How you doing? This is Rodney here at the studio in Tyson Corner, People to People. My guest is Miss Handy-Kendi. Okay? And y'all just hold on because I'm getting ready to put her information up on the board here so y'all can just see this beautiful queen. And we're going to go ahead and get into this podcast and make something happen. And I just want to say peace and blessings to everybody. And you, as you know, you got to do what you got to do. So, all right, let's see. We got it here. And here we go. Yeah. So, how you doing? How's everything with you?
I want to give praise and honor to the Most High.
Yes.
I'm good.
That's
good.
Yeah.
It's a little hectic.
Okay.
About to have a major event, our 30th anniversary, and of an amazing holiday and a holy day, and it involves a lot of effort to just be consistent for 30 years to bring about something that's really heals the community and makes that kind of difference. And so you get challenged. It seems like the more great work that you do is trying to help and serve. You get all kinds of little challenges, but I persevere and keep on going. And so it's been a very interesting last couple of months.
Well, I tell you, God is good, and as we know, a lot of times things happen.
Mm-hmm.
We apologize for running a little behind. We ran into some little complications and with the traffic and everything. On Wednesday everybody go to work. Everybody comes out on Wednesday, so things get a little bit backed up and everything. Okay. But God is good, and I was more concerned about just making sure you got here safe.
Yes.
So I'm glad that you arrived okay and everything.
Yes.
And so what I want to do is I got a couple things that I'm gonna kind of be doing, but I want you to talk about you have something real special coming up right now, right?
Yes, I do. I am sincerely humbled and blessed as the founder of a holiday. I like to call it a holy day, WHOLYDAY, because from our ancient African awareness of holy days, they were days of the divine, and they were days outside of the Roman calendar. And I was blessed to be taught by a historian that these holy days were then seen by Europeans who came into some of these ancient villages, and they decided to call them holidays because their concept was that the people were having recreation. Mm-hmm. But we decided to go back to the ancient term because the holy days gave reverence to the Creator for the great harvest. They were in gathering of people. It was a very spiritual high time. Yeah. So we said we want to go back to holy days because that would allow us to recreate ourselves.
You hold on right there, don't, because we got to make sure everybody's going to be able to hear all of this information. So I'm getting ready to do something real quick here.
Okay.
But you keep talking about the holy days.
Okay.
And
so these days were called epigomenial days. And Dr. Naim Akbar, noted historian, at that time that he set me at his feet and explained these holy day concepts, I had just started as the founder of the African American Holiday Association. And that I call that a download. That was a spiritual download that I should do this. It came out of a community newspaper that I was doing here in D.C. I'm a native Washingtonian. And I wanted to document how holidays and celebrations and rituals could make a real difference in our community. As a community organizer, I knew that gathering the people created unity, and the concept of community is really unity. And so I said, this newsletter evolved as a community-based paper, and we were celebrating Kwanzaa a great deal. And from that celebration, I grew and evolved more as an African-centered person. I began to see the value of holiday celebrations and rituals for people who, they say, we lost our history. We didn't lose it. It was misplaced. It was taken. It was co-opted, right? Mm-hmm. And so I decided that, I would just focus on this. And this evolution took me to the establishment of this nonprofit organization. So from the nonprofit organization, I was just blessed to be in a place in which radio, TV, print. I was on all kinds of media, talking about Kwanzaa, talking about the concept of holiday stress syndrome.
Yes.
And why it was important for us to spend our money where it counts in our own community during holidays.
Which is very important.
Very important, right. A lot of money goes out of our community during
right.
these holidays, right. And a lot of stress and trauma and drama occurs for us.
Right.
And so I saw all of this as an organizing perspective, a good focal point. And I believe in 1993, we started in 1989, the African American Holiday Association. But by 1993, I was blessed. I was riding on a bus, and I decided to go to see the movie Malcolm X, created by Spike Lee. And when I left the theater, got on the bus on a really hot, warm day like it was today in Washington, D.C., sunlight pouring through the bus, I pondered that scene in which I saw black men killing another black man. Mm. And that Spike Lee movie scene is really very graphic. If you need to revisit that film, it will really send chills in your heart because it reminds us of what we just saw with Tyree Nichols, a black man just taking the life of another black man. And I got on the bus and I remember just saying out loud, what can I do to continue to increase peace? And I heard the voice of God say, we need more black love, we need more black love. And that inspiration in about 40 days from then evolved to where we are today in 2023, 30 years later. We have 30 years of saying we need more black love. We need more black love.
Well, that's something that...
And we started Black Love Day.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people wouldn't argue about. Mm-hmm. And that's very important for us as individuals to take on that responsibility to share that black love. For all those who are just tuning in, my name is Rodney Grimes. This is People to People. My guest is Miss Ayo Handy-Kendi.
There you go.
I got it. Hey, I get tongue-tied. Now, I can say people to people, power to power, power to think of people real easy. Okay. But saying your name kind of gets me. But Miss Ayo, first of all.
Hindis.
Yeah. I love you. This is not your first time gracing me with your presence. Yes. So thank you. Again, we apologize. We had a little adjustments to make. So, but God is good.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I'm really learning right now is during the process. I want to say this, and I don't want to be thrown off track, but I want to say this. A lot of times when things are not going the way you want it to go, you'll blame it on the devil. Mm-hmm. But the devil is not always responsible for everything that goes wrong.
No.
You see?
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's just a process of how things are moving.
Yes.
And in that, we have this time to be able to understand how to conduct ourselves, which will bring us to the point of understanding love.
Yes.
So whether it's black love, white love, Korean love, Mexican love, Indian love, love is love.
Love is important.
And it's very important.
Right, very critical, right. It's a vibrational, transformative love and action concept. It's a verb. It's not just an emotion. It's not just a feeling. Love is not just how you express love with gifts and trinkets and touch or sexuality or sensuality. It's that and all wrapped together. But if you really, really understand what pure unconditional love is, it's a high vibration. You know, people in love, you almost see it, they glow, you know. They look like they're walking almost on air. And everything that has life loves. If you think of that, we love our plants, we love our pets. I have 6 little loving dogs that actually come up to me, and you can see the expression of love on their face when they're concerned about me. And everything that loves is of life. If you really begin to ponder that you have a plant and you love it and you water it, you take care of it, you nurture it. So there's a reciprocal value in love. What you give out in love, you receive it. So if you give that plant nourishment, it blossoms and it glows. But if you neglect that plant withers and dies. And that's the same thing that happens with the human species in a relationship of love. This high vibration that keeps us going, alive, thriving. It's very, very important. And as a community, Black Love Day has brought that element for 30 years, not only in the DC metropolitan community, but it resonated so fast. That's what's really humbling. The first Black Love Day was about 40 days from that inspiration. And we were blessed. We got an article written about us in the Washington Post. Dorothy Gilliam, tremendous writer and author. She heard me talking about it on a radio show, just like we're doing a community radio show. And she just loved the idea of it. And so she ran and she got a deadline in real quick with about 3 days of hearing the radio interview. And from that Washington Post article, we got a whole blast of media right at the beginning. And now I looked, in 30 years, I looked on Google, we got about, I think it was like 6 billion inquiries. And people are telling me that's quite amazing.
Well, I mean, the fact that, you know, you're still doing this after so long, and with all the dismay that's been in our communities, you know, sometimes it'd be discouraging. Do we have any water? Okay. Would you like the water?
I actually.
Oh, you do?
I bought my own. I bought my little alkaline water.
Yeah, I actually have some over there too. And again, yeah. So this is just overall. I get real excited about how we go about doing things and how things work for us. Thank you so much. And that's what I'm about.
Yeah.
I thrive off of love. Love for everyone, for everything. Many times I think about situations with people, and I think about how people treat one another.
Yes.
And they don't have the passion.
Yes.
And we got to get back to having that passion,
yes.
that passion for sharing the love.
That's
you
right.
know, in one of my studies, my Bible studies, we talked about the agape love.
Very much, yes.
Okay, that's the love that God gives.
Yes.
And if we practice the agape love, sharing it,
yes.
Man, it'd be amazing the energy which we would bring out and give to one another.
That is really what Black Love Day is about.
I put your flyer up there.
Thank you.
And I want to say, so 30 years of Black Love Day, Black Love heals.
Yes.
365
yes.
days
yes.
of
yes.
the year.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes, I love
it. Yes.
and every year we have a theme, and this is our 2023 year theme, Black Love Heals 365. And when I say I get downloads all the time, the creator be just talking to me and giving me these thoughts and ideas and saying do this and do that. I sometimes talk to God and I say, gee, I haven't even finished what you told me the other day. And you're giving me a new assignment. So I just keep trying to keep up, right? And that came oh, I guess almost around about the Christmas holidays.
Mm-hmm.
But who would have thought that here now we've gone through this whole horrendous scene again, similar to what we were seeing when Black Love Day started in 1993. It started during the crack cocaine epidemic, and a lot of black people was killing each other and
yes.
robbing and stealing, and here we are again, 2023. We're right back again with that thing with Brother Tyree Nichols. Just totally has a lot of people really sick to their stomach. But we need to understand that we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go. And the movie Malcolm X, who is truly my hero, you know, I always say that, and Sister Harriet is my shero, right? These revolutionaries, because, you know, that's how I liken myself, that a visionary doing different things, trying to change things, make things better, right? So Malcolm often would say, who taught us how to hate ourselves, and who taught us how not to love ourselves?
Oh my goodness.
And that profound statement is very much part of the goals of Black Love Day, to end black self-hatred, to end racism, white supremacy, to create an alternative to the drama and confusion of Valentine's Day.
You know, and excuse me.
That's all right.
One of the things that's really important that we understand how we got to this point.
Yes.
That's why it's important to understand our history.
Yes.
It's supposed to be Black History Month.
Yes.
I have a problem with that.
Okay.
Honestly, Black history is every day of my life.
It's every day.
Okay,
yes.
so it's not a Chinese History Month.
Yes.
It's not an Indian History Month.
Yes.
You know, it's not a white, even American month for history. But only for us, we have the history. Okay, not to make that a big deal, because you know, you take what you have and make it work for you.
Yes.
Okay, so if we're going to talk about Black history in February, make sure we do it, and make sure that it carries on throughout the rest of the year and throughout our whole life as we move forward. Knowing where you came from puts you in a position to know where you're going. Now, and one more thing before I cut you off.
That's all right.
It's something you said that's on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times people don't understand why we have the lack of love.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
See, some people don't get it. See, you got to understand why we don't. And if I was speaking to an audience of young people or some people who don't really comprehend, what I would say to them is this. If you, now I'm not saying that humans are like dogs, but you know, dog is the man's best friend, right? We let him eat with us, sleep with us, and everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you just a short story, and then I'm gonna let you run with what I'm getting ready to say.
Okay.
So if you had a male, female dog, and a male dog, and the female dog was a loving dog, right? But the male was a fighting dog. Okay. So he got that fighting gene in him, right? Okay, but you breed them.
Yes.
A couple of them puppies gonna come out very aggressive, right? Now, through the process, you make the decision if you want to have aggressive dogs or if you want to have some passive dogs. And it's how you treat them and love them and bring them out and expose them to things that cause them to have either that positive, aggressive gene or that gene of love. Now you tell me, when we go back to the history of the individuals in this country, what gene was developed for us to be where we are today? Go ahead and talk. I gotta fix them. I want you to talk about that.
Okay. So that's deep. It's gonna take a few minutes. I would say that, Rodney, we are the original people of color, black people, whatever way that you want to fashion us, people who have melanin in their skin, and all people have melanin that makes us brown, and then there's people who, what we call melanin recessive. They don't have as much melanin, and melanin just gives us the skin tone, but melanin gives us more than that. It gives us a divine intelligence too, and a heightened spirituality. And there's a doctor named Dr. Tyreen Wright who's been teaching on the podcast I Love Black People. And I've been listening to her, and she did historical research, and she made a comment that I've been reciting. And she says to be human is to be African. To be human is to be African, because we know that the first people came out of the continent of Africa. And they already looked at genes. Smithsonian documented it. All kinds of scientists have had to document it. That 99% of all human species have the DNA that comes from Africa, comes from people of color, melanated people, right? So we look at the gene pool, you look at then the evolution of humanity. And the evolution of humanity seems to have come from an area that was warm climate. There was abundant food. You could go out on the beach and, pick fish and pick from the fields. Abundance, right? She speaks about how many years later, and it's a really long time. So I'm not going to try to quote her. But it's a really long time before the next level of evolution became what we now call European people, or what I like to call now so-called white people, and talk about the so-called black people. I used to always talk about race, but I have recognized that those so-called white people created a construct that enabled the so-called people to have divisions that they quoted as race.
Right.
So we come back to looking beyond the social construct that was exacerbated in something like 1452, I think, when the Pope V actually created a edict, a document that stated that us so-called people need to go and conquer all the other people.
Yeah.
Then I believe that part of that evolution had to do with how Europeans left the continent of Africa. There was the migration of Europeans, there was a migration of Africans and other parts out of Africa. There was a migration of Africans into China, and you name it, all around the world, right? That evolution took a long time, but the evolution created the differences in our hair texture, our nose,
everything.
We adapted to the climates and the regions.
Yes.
And the behavior then dictates how you go beyond the genealogy, but you go to the behavior. And that's why I want to answer that question. The Europeans went to colder climates, so they had to be the hunters. They had to store their food in the cold snow, whereas Africans, they just abundantly able to pick the fruits and the vegetables from the fields and trees, right? I believe that the shift of consciousness of scarcity made a big difference. Everything had to be done by a timely way, because if you didn't get your food in the ground packed, then you would starve.
Right.
And people had to stay in packs, so there was a certain degree of community in African cultures. But hunters need to be isolated and alone, because if you pack in the hunt when you're in the cold, then it's a whole different scenario. And so I got educated by Dr. Edwin Nichols in relationship to the construct as to how Europeans show up today with certain behavior. Africans show up with other kinds of behaviors. People who are Chinese or Oriental, they show up with different kinds of behavior. And it has a lot to do with the evolution of humankind as we all came out of Africa.
Now, and that's what was very important for us to understand. Now, we talking facts. We're not talking about things that's just, we thinking of. We talking facts. But a lot of times when you don't want to address the elephant in the room, a lot of people will get in their feelings because they thinking that you're causing trouble or you're causing, when you speak truth.
Yes.
But truth will set you free.
Yes.
Now, what we want to come to the realization, what race of a people can produce every other race.
Well, that is why it's been told to us that to be human means that, you know, we're African.
Yeah.
What our dominance and obviously in our genealogy has been able to create humankind.
Right.
However, if we don't look at so-called race, but we look at human beings and showing up with different characteristics,
Come
right?
on. Talk to me.
Then that shifts the conversation. You know, the scientists have gone over and over again, and they don't see that, you know, we're all human beings.
No, but they see
blood and skin, and it's all the same. But the way in which we show up is what makes the difference. And the European people who knew that there needed to be a way to make themselves superior. This group, this elite group of people who had, I guess, more of the riches, they had the power, they had the ability.
Okay, wait a minute.
Yes,
Okay, so
to create this scenario.
Okay, so this is where I get confused, even me.
Okay.
Now, so we said this group of people who had the power, the riches, but where did the power and riches come from?
It had come from, well, this was the Roman Catholic Church. And the power and the riches, of course, have been passed down. They had been plundering and pillaging for a long time, I understand, within the whole Catholic Church. And there's all numbers of ways in which, from ancient history, there's always been a certain amount of taking from each other, right?
Yeah.
From
Which is in the
Europeans to
Bible.
Europeans,
Yeah.
right.
I mean,
Right.
when we look at the structure of the Bible itself, as we do the Bible studies, it's many times when I realize that we have, as a people, now we start out love.
Yeah.
We're going to keep that love.
Yeah, we're going to come back to love.
Right. We're going to come back because
Right.
love is really the key to the solution to everything.
I believe so too.
When God, you know, when we look at how God created us,
Yeah.
He created us out of His passion.
Yes.
That's why we are so unique.
Yes.
Now, as individuals, we have to go back to understand why is there so much hatred, especially now in the black race.
Yes.
Okay, so we can talk about the Europeans and the Asians or whatever, but we talking about individual people.
Yes.
Okay, because really, for real, I tell this many times. I said, if a person got hit by a car and you weren't there, and say they scraped their arm or something happened where they started bleeding really bad, and the ambulance came and picked that person up, and then somebody around the corner came back and said, yo, it was just an accident on the corner, man. Somebody was bleeding, and nobody in that conversation knew exactly who was there. Could you tell what type of race it was?
Yeah.
You can't.
You can't. No.
All you see is the red blood.
That's right.
So when we go back also, the other things that bring me back to thinking about, and this is all going back to the love thing and where we are as a people, and that is also how that we get to the point of the separation.
Yes.
See, dictatorship, okay, and the desire to be in power creates everything outside of love and puts us in a position for that selfishness and control.
Yes. Yes.
And when we talk about people who have migrated into these areas of power that was not given,
Yes.
the only real power is the power of our Lord and Savior.
Our Lord and Savior. That's right.
So when we really look at that, we got to realize what caused us to get to where we are today.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And so that goes back when I was talking about when you're breeding.
Yes.
You can breed hatred into something.
Yes, you can.
And then I hate to say that in this country, it's been bred into the black culture to a point that many times they don't even have to do anything anymore.
Yeah.
We on self-destruction.
Yeah. Our challenge, Rodney, is that when we really understand the pain that drives so many people who look like you and I to some of what appears like hatred, But a lot of it is stress. A lot of it is not being taught, just as you're stating. If you've been wounded, what is it? Hurt people. We have generations of pain and hurt that's never ever been addressed.
Right.
We have psychological damage. We have emotional damage. We are marginalized in communities that are damaged. We are not healthy in a lot of respects. We eat a lot of the poorest foods, and we go to the hospitals that allow us to languish in the quarters and oftentimes just be neglected. Yeah. There's a lot of factors, and so I like to do what I learned early on to organize and not blame the victims. We have been actually victimized in this position in which we were taught really not to love ourselves. We were pitted against each other. We were bred.
Exactly.
We were bred.
Yeah.
And we were bred with anger and pain and whips and rapes and molestation and on and on and on, you know. So it's some deep stuff that we have to work through.
And we have to address it.
And we have to address it. We can't continue to act like that just because you're black, that means I know you're my ally. No, we have to realize that the very people who pitted us against each other have also raised us, and we work in their jobs, we look at their TVs, we go to their schools, we read their books. Our history
is tainted.
It's tainted, right. And so looking at everything holistically gives you the perspective that allows you to still love your people despite the challenges, and to know that for all this confusion and crazy, we really are some pretty amazing people to have so much resilience, to have been able to rise above all of this stuff that was put on us to keep us inferior and under the toe of a power structure who could care less. As long as we were doing the bidding of the masters, that's where we were supported, most of us. But when we came outside of that, we were throwaways. So I come back to symbolism, and I brought this, okay?
Okay.
This is a symbol of the Akoma. We'll see the Akoma all filled in as a Valentine's heart, right? But this is the original African symbolism of love, endurance, patience, tolerance. It's called an Akoma, Akoma. In the 18th century, this symbol was an open heart. And an open heart coming out of ancient African symbolism, this meant compassion and tolerance and openness, right? An open heart. When the Europeans took this symbol and closed the heart, it was symbolic of the closed heart that they approached love. And they took the whole love concept of openness and unconditional love, and they closed it and packed the very symbol of love. And that shifted the whole energy around love, and then that became Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day is full of confusion. And so I bought my Black Love book. I have a copy for you all. I was rushing, I didn't get to give it to you. But I tell the whole history of this symbol. The Akoma, it simply means get a heart, be patient. It's an ancient African symbol, not a Valentine. It is an Akoma, A-K-O-M-A. So I had to bring that up in terms of who taught us how to not be open and loving? Who taught us how to fight each other and pull for the very resources, you know, and here we are all in this boat together, so how come we not working together like we did in ancient Africa? A lot of conditioning came into how we show up today. And so our goal with Black Love Day is to come back and recondition us again to the loving people.
And what you call this again?
Akoma.
Akoma.
A-K-O-M-A.
Now, this is what I'm curious about, and we're talking about as we address everyone that just coming in. This is people to people with Rodney Grimes. This is Miss Io, Handy-Kendi, my guest.
Take a hand, handy.
Handy.
I'm
Yeah,
handy.
there you go.
Right.
Io Handy. There you go. I got it.
Io Handy.
So you know, do the human heart really look like this?
If you look at a human heart, Rodney, I'm a breathologist too. I'm an
Right.
organizer. I'm a holistic practitioner. I'm a founder of an organization, but I'm a breathologist. And if you look at the human heart is open. It's filled with these chambers, right? But the chambers have a whole lot of tissue and fluid, and it's like if you look at the human heart, you can like kind of see the blood running all through it, and you know the little veins and the tissues.
But it's not shaped like this.
Well, it's not totally shaped like that, but it is somewhat like that. It does have sort of a, how can I best describe it? Because I got a shell that looks just like a human heart. It kind of comes up kind of conical, and it has a little more flatness at the top. It's not totally all round and
Right.
pointed at the end,
Right.
no. But it is open. That's, I think, the point that needs to be
okay.
understood.
Okay.
It's not filled all,
Right.
clogged all up. If it's clogged up, you got problems with your heart. Okay? Going toward a heart attack, right?
Yeah.
Because that's filled with inflammation when it's all clogged up, right? And so think of that. You know, inflammation kills us. A full heart doesn't allow us to have the flow that love can give us.
Right.
You know?
You have to have that room.
You gotta have a room, you know. So I have dolls. I breed dolls. The symbology is perfect. I had a very aggressive male dog with a very passive female dog, and they've had different levels of temperament in the puppies.
Right.
So it was a perfect analogy. And we've had about 15 puppies. Actually, I got 2 puppies now. I'm looking for somebody for the family because to take these 2 puppies, because I do see that the aggressive little female puppy of that mating, I don't know why she's the only one that runs around and she jumps on the other little boys, and other little boys, you know, they're beginning to get a little more aggressive because they got to survive.
Yes.
And so you got to think about that also. In all we've gone through, some of the anger, the pain, the struggle has been also about surviving. If everybody's all on top of you and against you, and you barely feel that you can survive. So what do? You get defensive. You put up shields. You're more guarded. You may get aggressive because you need to get what you got to get. There's a lot of reasons why our people have these, I call them some mental health challenges based on our position and our conditioning.
So
I don't put us down, though. I never put us
right.
down.
So saying that based on our condition and our position, right? Let's think about this. Okay, so when we talk about love, and I'm the individual because I can talk as a black man because that's what I am, right?
Yeah.
But so if I had a white man sitting right here, would I be mad at him because he's white?
I would hope not. I would hope not.
Okay, reason why I say that because when we talk about love, love has no color.
It has no color, right?
Right?
I would hope not. Yes.
Okay. Now, where are we when we really, really address the issues? Race was created.
Yes, it was created.
That's created to divide.
Yes.
And we still, a lot of us in certain countries and in the world itself, we talk about race like that's how we identify humans, but it's not. See, so I think that what God did, just my opinion, when he said, yo, I'm going to make y'all magnificent. Y'all can come in all shades and all sizes. You can come small and you can come big. You can come dark. You can come light.
Right.
And you know something? That's one of the things that make me go back and think about how powerful God is and what I think his intention was. Now we, the individuals who sometimes think they're God, we got certain individuals who do, and it doesn't mean that they're black or white. It's just individuals who have that kind of DNA in them that make them think that they're better.
They're better.
You know, and so we run into that.
Yes.
Because as we talk about slavery, we talk about all the things. Black people have done it to black people.
Yeah.
White people have done it to white people.
Yes.
So we've seen this as a human deficiency.
Yes. Yes.
So what we should be when we call in, I love black love.
Mm-hmm.
I love black love
Mm-hmm.
because black love is something unique.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yes.
I'm from my culture.
Yes. Yes.
See,
Yes.
I know that we are so quick to accept so many
Everybody
other people.
else's people.
Yeah,
Yes.
but they don't want to accept us.
That's right. That's right. Yes.
Many times we walk in, and because of the color of our skin,
Yeah.
we are set out and looked upon as something, oh, that you supposed to fear or you supposed to look down on. But let me tell you what I realized as I've traveled around the world, and I've seen that many people love the color. They love the melanin.
Yes.
They love the beauty. They love the texture of the hair. They love the strength.
Yes.
When I was in the Marine Corps, I was even told that when we was doing the swimming part, that the structure of the black man was one of the most well put together structures of the human race.
Okay.
We have more muscle than any other human species. Right? Now, that tells me, even at that point, that is something really unique about us as individuals.
Yeah.
Now, this doesn't say that this is why we are separated. This is not saying why people treat us like that. But when you start to understand who you are, what you are, and where you come from, then you understand how to take care of yourself. You know how to treat each other, and you know where you're going.
That's right.
And what we have to do is go back to the original piece of structure, which is love.
Yes.
And I just say that to many of my viewers because, you know, I don't want people to assume that I have anything against individuals because you're not like me.
Mm-hmm.
That you don't look like me. I don't have nothing against you.
Mm-hmm.
What I have against people is when you try to judge me by the cover and you don't know the story.
That's right. That's right.
When you don't know the whole story.
That's right.
And you don't understand the process of my story.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
this is really eye-opening conversation. 1 hour is never going to be enough. I'm sure that we're going to have another part because you are such an amazing woman.
I give thanks. I've traveled a little bit myself. Not around the world. I really want to do that, but I've been to about 9 different countries, and I've seen what you've seen.
Yeah.
That at one point in my early development as an organizer, in 19 I went to Okinawa, and I married my high school sweetheart. And I really faced a lot of racism.
Oh.
Coming from D.C. at that time,
Yeah.
and D.C. was Chocolate City at that time, right?
Yeah.
And so I didn't even have to hardly deal with anybody who didn't look like me. And when I went to Okinawa, I really got smacked right in the face with it. And we had to deal with it on the military level because we were in a military base.
Yes.
And when I came back home, I had created a anti-military newspaper, so the people were following us and they were harassing my husband. He had a big afro. They made him cut his afro. It was harassment, and I thought then, yes, it was based on the fact that we were black people, right? When I came home, I was very angry. I spent maybe about a good year in anti-war movement demonstrations, and I met people who didn't look like me, who were kind and compassionate, and they wanted to learn more about me, and they wanted to learn more about my history and my culture, and they didn't placate me either. They were real, and some of them had very racist tendencies, and they didn't want to accept me. But they couldn't help but to accept me because I came in standing up on my own with some intelligence and some plans and some abilities to know how to get to A to Z. And so they had to accept that because they needed it. And I began to evolved. And that's why I love Malcolm. I saw his evolution too, where he went from a whole nation of Islam that was teaching a rhetoric of separation and race-based concepts of, and it wasn't really hate. It was really more about how the black man needed to do for self. People don't understand really what was being taught in the nation of Islam.
Yeah.
But as Malcolm evolved, I also followed a path similar to him that I evolved too. And I have been able to find that I can't always just accept everyone just based on the color of their skin.
Right.
That I had to accept them based on their heart.
Come on. And that is beautiful.
And that shifted my whole life.
Yeah.
It really did. I have some amazing friends that when I go to an international breath conference every year. And some of those friends, they're white as snow, but their heart is pure as gold.
Yes,
They're wonderful, humane people.
Yeah.
And then I've been around some folks that look like me, and they pretty ugly and rotten, nasty people that I don't want to be around. And so I stopped judging people based on the color of their skin. I had to base it on their heart, and it allows us to accept humanity.
Yeah.
And be compassionate about humanity, and it makes a real difference.
When I was stationed in Okinawa.
Oh, were you? Okay.
At Camp Swab.
Okay.
I was there a year.
Okay.
And
we were in Naha.
And one of the things that got me was when we was talking about, we talked racism, right? Mm-hmm. When I was in the Marine Corps, once I came out of boot camp, it was understood that it was only one Marine, and he was green.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It wasn't no white Marine, no black Marine, even though we know we still had the racism among whatever.
Right.
But when I went to Okinawa, one of the things that got me was we went to this one little restaurant, and it said, "No Americans and no dogs."
Okay.
Now, think about that.
Serious? Yeah.
It said, "No Americans and no dogs." Now, it didn't say no black Americans.
Yeah.
It didn't say no white Americans. It didn't say no Hispanic Americans. It didn't say no Asian. It said no Americans. And if you came in there, one representing the American people, they put you out.
Okay.
That was one of the times that I understand the difference when we use the terminology of racism.
Yes.
That's racism is just a word.
Yes.
What that is hatred. That's something that's embedded in a person. And when we give it a title, it has a tendency to take it where we can kind of soup it up and put something over top of it and dress it up and blame it, but that's not it. If anything we get out of this program today, and we talking about the Black Love Day, which is
February the 13th.
February the 13th.
February the 13th is always the day of Black Love Day, and this year we're having a weekend of activities leading up to the 13th. From February the 11th, 12th, we're having a beach summit to talk about every aspect of love and healing and moving forward. And then on the 13th, you do 24 hours of just demonstrating love, showing love for the Creator, for ourselves, our black family, our black community, and our so-called black race. And whites show love in action to check their behavior, feelings out, and attitudes,
so
and
we
to
should
show
just say,
love in action more towards
just the human race
black
itself.
people, right? So it's a day that we get to stop the violence and increase the peace. We can be about pro peace. I'm beginning to not dwell on what I don't want. So I don't want to say anti-blackness, but I want to talk about pro peace. I don't want to talk about victimization and crime. I want to talk about behavior that supports us, and all of that's going to happen this weekend, coming up February the 11th through the 13th. And we got these amazing people like Yana Van Zant's going to be part of a healing ceremony that's transformative, which I was blessed to create. Going to have a memorial service for people who are grieving, for folks who have been taken out of here by violence. We're having a party, just relax and have fun. We call that the Love and Happiness Party, you know. And we got about 30 different presentations from everything you can imagine. A fabulous program, and it's all open to the public. And you just have to register. And our goal is to do just what you said. Our goal is to find a path to elevating ourselves back to our original greatness, and we can do that through love. And,
if we would take a moment and think about where we are with our youth today, we have to go back and understand that gene of destruction, we have to approach it.
Yeah.
We have to dilute it with love.
Yes, we do.
Wisdom and understanding. We have to take our youth and put them back to a point where they understand that we don't point the finger, but we try to find a solution.
Yes.
We don't go and say it's your fault when you're not doing anything to try to prevent the problem.
Yes.
See, a lot of times we want to blame everybody, and even still, I know what I know the struggles of a black man in this country. But let me share a real quick story. When my own father was being abusive to me, it was a white man that showed me love.
Okay.
And so in that process, I had to understand where we are and who do you blame. It's not so much that you blame all white people, because not all white people are mean.
No.
And not do you be mad at all black people, because not all black people are mean.
Right.
You know, we got to realize that people in themselves, and it starts where? In here.
Right. Right.
It starts here.
Yeah.
That heart, that desire,
Yes.
and where you are. I've learned that, and it was something that was shared with me today, and the Holy Spirit is telling me to bring it out and talk about that real quick. In all of this, what is really important and it is imperative that we pay attention to is your faith. See, your faith in everything plays a factor.
Yeah.
So if you got faith in goodness and you believe in it, it's going to move in your life. If you got faith in your blackness, it's going to move in your life. If you got faith in being white, it's going to move in your life. But move in the faith of the goodness.
Yes.
Because the self-destruction of one leads to the demise of us all. And where we are as individuals, we have to. Now, again, we got a serious problem going on in the black neighborhoods. And we got young black males out here killing each other like it's nothing. And they're not going to jail for life. They go get 20 years and get institutionalized and get turned into some maniac animals.
Yes, yes, yes.
You know, we got a lot of them that come home don't even want to be free no more. They'd rather be locked up and somebody telling them when to do. I always told my sons, I said, look, I'm going to tell you, I like 31 flavors. Now, I'm going to just go show you how that works. There's a lot of flavors in people. There's a lot of flavors in all kinds of things, but we got 31 flavors. My sons used to laugh when I say it, because I tell them, I say, let me tell you something. If you go to jail and you get yourself in that situation, that's by design to get you there.
Yes.
Okay? You're going to not be able to have 31 flavors. And then we know 31 flavors is the ice cream, right?
Yes, I was going to say, isn't that ice cream?
It's ice cream.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but we can look at it as also 31 flavors in
life.
In life itself.
Yes.
Having the option to say, I don't want to be with a black woman. I could be with a white woman or an Asian woman. I don't want to be with a black man. I could be with a white man or Asian. Because see, one of the things that also that I tell people is this. Yeah, we going to deal with the elephant in the room. And racism is a real serious problem because of what the stigma and everything that comes with it.
Yeah.
But let's keep it real. And we're going to keep it real. No matter if you're a male and you're a female, especially coming out of whatever area you do, say we breeding them, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can't take 2 male dogs and put them in there and get nothing.
Okay.
You can't do it with 2 female dogs.
That's right.
You can take a Chihuahua and a Shih Tzu, and if the Chihuahua is female and the Shih Tzu dog is a male, you can breed them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my point I want to make is this. When we talk about individuals as people, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, accept the culture and who they are.
Yes.
Don't judge them by the color of their skin or the texture of their hair.
Yes.
Because if it was meant that we really be separated, we wouldn't be able to breed with one another.
That's true.
See, God didn't make no mistakes.
Mm-hmm. No,
You feel me?
Rodney.
See, God didn't make no mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So you got it where you can take a white woman and a black man and you can have a child. You can take a black woman and put her with an Asian man and have a child. You can take a white woman and put her with a Mexican or an Indian and have a child. We talking about man and woman.
Yeah.
So when we talk about all these things, when they come together, we come to one thing that stimulates the real thing that all of us, every last one of us, can relate to and understand, and that's love.
And that's love. Yes. Yes.
See, the love don't have any color. Huh? That agape love is
That
amazing.
agape love is amazing. Yes.
And we can have that in our hearts if we continue to move forward.
Yes, we can.
Everyone that just joined in, I tell you, this was an amazing opportunity for me to be with Miss Ayo. You are a beautiful lady. I know that we're gonna make this again because a lot went on. I send shout out to my family right now. I ask for prayer for my family, for my mother. My mom is 91 years old, man, soon to be 92.
Yes.
And my mother's she's dealing with a process of life. Hey, wait a minute, I got a call.
Okay.
Hello, caller. Please state your name and where you're calling from.
This is Rachel Pope, calling from Sister Heights, Maryland.
Hey, Rachel, Queen Rachel, how you doing?
I am blessed, and how about yourself?
I'm blessed by the best always.
And you know I had to give you the greeting in your coma, Queen Rachel.
Say it again.
In your coma, which means be patient, get a heart. That's the greeting for Black Love Day.
Yes, how you doing, Queen?
I'm doing well. Miss Rachel's gonna be one of our presenters. She's gonna be on a video, and we got some panels and circles for racial healing and justice, and you name it. I can't wait to see you this weekend, sis.
Well, I can't wait. I got to pray to see what I'm going to deliver, but I just want to come in here and support and tell everybody they need to participate. Check it out. Black Love Day is a strong event.
Yes.
And I'm so happy that Sister Ayo had opened her heart to receive the assignment and follow through until it exists and manifested. And here we are today out of all those years. How many years is it?
It's 30 years, Rachel.
30 years.
30 years. Started in 1993. Here, 2023. Yeah.
Family, everybody. And I just want to say thank you, Ayo, for being a friend, a mentor, everything to me.
Okay,
And
thanks.
God bless you.
God bless you, Rachel. And you know, I'm humble. I say give thanks. It's all this is coming through a high source, and so I just listen and follow. And I love you, girl. My sister.
I'll talk to you later.
All right, dear. Thank you. Thank
Wait,
you for
wait a
calling
minute.
in, Rachel.
And you know that you're not gonna get off that phone and not say something to me. I don't, Queen Rachel. Okay, I know I got the queen in the house, but you was getting ready to hang up and then tell me and send me some love too.
To everyone.
I know, baby. You know I gotta mess with you. I love you, baby. Thank you so much for always showing your love and support.
Peace out.
All right, baby. Talk to you soon.
Your laughter is infectious, Rachel. I love it.
She's amazing.
So we're going to be offering things that's going to bring us the kind of joy that Rachel just showed. We'll be, I'm a breathologist, so we're going to be breathing. There's going to be laughter yoga. There's movement. It's going to be music. It's poetry. It's more than just talk. It's going to be a real demonstration of a lot of people who decided to come together to volunteer, knowing that right now there's a lot of hurt and pain beyond that just happened with this Tyree Nichols piece. But there was already a lot of hurt and pain because so many people have been taken out by violence, and it's in black communities and white communities and every community. But of course, we have to do just what you said. We can't any longer deny what we in our own community have to work on.
Right.
I think that, as I said, we've come a long, long, amazing way. And you know what they're doing now? They're calling Black History Month. A number of young people have talked about Black Futures Month as opposed to Black History Month. And that if our future continues to be on the path of a destructive wave in which we're back to struggling with each other again, then our future is not as bright. But if our future is filled with this possibility that all these amazing social justice movements have the underpinning of love, Dr. King's movement, a love movement, Mahatma Gandhi, a love movement against the British, the movement of our dear Jesus, it was a love movement. All of these revolutionaries used the transformative high vibration of love to shift the consciousness and shift the behavior and put the power structure in its rightful place. And so to begin that process, we do it on this day, the February the 13th. We encourage people to just try to spend 24 hours, not arguing, not fighting, not screaming at each other, not calling each other names. We've said to gangs, don't pick up the guns during that weekend. We've said to people, apologize, because the apology is not necessarily for the other person. It's really about you. It's about letting that hardness of your heart soften. So much about Black Love Day is a really powerful, powerful day, and I'm just really so appreciative of the opportunity to share the possibilities. Try to spend 24 hours and just be about love.
Yeah, I love that.
Don't worry about giving a present.
Right.
Give your presence.
Your presence.
Your presence. Yeah, and just see how the difference it makes.
This is so amazing, and for all those who are out there, please, even though we're talking about February 13th, and Miss Ayo is, this is something that she's put together with many other individuals to talk about this love. Hold on a second. It's People to People with Rodney Grimes. Hello.
Hi. Are the lines open to ask questions?
Yes, you may. How you doing?
I'm fine. This is Jimmy.
Oh, okay.
This is Ashika. This is Rodney's niece. Everybody.
Okay.
Hi, Ashika.
Hi. How are you?
In your
I have
coma.
a question.
Yes.
So I was just tapping in and tapping out of the broadcast or whatever, but I heard you all briefly talk about love, and my uncle specifically says the love gene, and y'all touched on various topics, but this is what I really want to know. I want to know how you apply the love, and I'm going to coin it the love gene as well. How to apply the love gene to those who are kind of hard in love, or they've been through so much trauma that they are emotionally numb to some things. They don't know how to receive the love.
I would say that perhaps they may start out that way, but I do believe that love has this real powerful transformative aspect of it, and that it's not the easiest thing to love in the face of hate. We saw that in the civil rights movement. You know, we saw some very serious group of people standing up against a peace movement, and you know, have dogs sicking the human beings and the hoses and beating people over the head, but people stood with resilience and they sent love instead. And in my life, I've had to experience what Rodney talked about. I was also abused as a child. And my hating the abuser, you know, it kept me distant and apart. But when I began to understand the value of forgiveness, and I released the pain and the hurt through forgiveness, it changed the whole relationship. It brought me closer to the perpetrator of all that ugliness, and it was actually my father. So I have seen the difference in how to apply love. It's a practice for me now. It changes things. It literally changes the whole climate of situations, and not easy. No, I'm not going to say anything is easy, but anything that's worthwhile may not be easy. So just continue to practice love. We say send love in the face of all this hatred, violence, confusion. And the more you stand in love, you send a message to the other person that they can't penetrate you. Your love is a shield. It's a force field. It is a God force.
Yes.
Because the Creator has given us love.
Yes.
And we understand that.
I want to add something to this. One of the things that me as an individual that I'm practicing more so than anything, forgiveness.
Forgiveness, yes.
Forgiveness is one of the things that you're going to find is one of the ingredients of love.
It's the vital root,
right?
I think.
Yes.
Of love.
When you learn how to forgive those who hurt you, that's the start of the healing process.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, a lot of us carry that, and me myself from my childhood, my father was. He had a drinking problem.
My father had a drinking problem.
Yeah, and he was very physically and verbally abusive.
My father was physically and verbally
but what I had to do,
yes.
what I had to do was analyze all of that. Now, when we're trying to heal from something, remember, don't judge the book by the cover, but get the story. And when you understand these things in relationships and people, then you'll start to understand maybe why it's important to be able to forgive them.
That's correct.
Because you look at the way that you don't know why they are the way they are if you weren't there with them.
That's
So with that said, Ashika, I'm hoping a message from this phone call from this day on. Understand one of the most important process of the love and removing yourself from being a part of the hatred is the forgiveness part.
Yes.
You have to learn how to forgive yourself.
Yes.
You got to learn how to forgive your neighbor.
Yes.
And you got to forgive the one that really hurt you.
That's correct.
And it's not an easy thing.
No.
Because when you let go, as we say, when you let go, you let God.
You really let God.
Hey, thank you for calling in, baby. I love you.
Thank you, Sheikah. And please,
Thank you.
I hope you come to this weekend because we're having an actual process which will take all of the people who attend to the point of forgiveness and apologizing and letting go.
Well,
Very healing.
Before I even let her get off here, because this is one of my nieces that very powerful within her thoughts and some. And I tell you, I would love for Ashika
Yes.
One day, I want to have a panel with Miss Ayo back here, and when I do, I would like for you to sit in on it, and that's for particular reasons, because I know that there'll be quite a few questions and things that you would bring to the table that would trigger her to give some wisdom and knowledge of her gift that she has as a certified individual who deal with mental health and healing and things of that nature. So I just wanted to put that out there. All right?
Okay.
I love you, baby.
And I love you.
Me too.
Yes. And I love your name.
Ashika.
Ashika.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
love your energy. I can feel it through the phone.
She's something
I'm
else.
grateful. Thank you.
I'm grateful. You're invited. All of you are invited. You can go to our website, www.africanamericanholidays.org. That's africanamericanholidays.org. There's a program guide there. You can look through it and see all that's being offered February the 11th through the 13th. You can pick and choose when you want to pop in, or you can pop in, go hang it out, come back. I know the Super Bowl is Sunday. Hey, look, you can come hang out with us all the way up to the Super Bowl and go see the Super Bowl, come back, and we're still gonna be there with our memorial service for grief release, and then Monday, that's the day, what we call the Holy Day, a Black Love Day. And so I want you to just try it, Ashika. I want you to just practice allowing yourself to close your eyes and touch your heart and allow your breath to soften your body, and just slow breathe as if you see into your heart space, and allow your heart space to be open. As you breathe into that heart space, begin to see the issue, who it is that you're having a difficulty with, who is it that you feel you need to forgive, or if it's that you need to forgive yourself. And then allow the Creator to just come through your spirit and ask the Creator. Talk to the Creator. What is it that I need to know from this heart as you're touching your heart and breathing from it? Because the heart has a whole lot more intelligence than this head.
Yeah, I'm thankful that I'm not in a position where I'm faced with that struggle at this point. But who knows when that test is going to come, where I'm going to have to be around somebody.
Yes.
Or whatever, So I thought I'd call and ask, but right now, I kind of, my struggle, my walk is with some other things, but I did want to, ask the question since love was imposed.
Well, I appreciate
and
it.
that is the frequency that we're on right now.
Yes.
Love. It's about love. So.
Yes. And we're going to be talking about love and demonstrating love beyond February the 13th. We have created a coalition called the Black Love Coalition, because Black Love Day opened up the door for a whole lot of communities in D.C. and around the country to focus on love in this month of so-called love. And so from an African-centered perspective, this coalition is driving a Black Love movement. And this Black Love movement is calling on all of the loveologists, the science of love, the culture of love, to begin to bring that culture back into our communities and shift the discussion and the narrative that, we got pain and hurt and drive-by shootings and killings and stealing, but we also have brilliant people who have risen above all of that. And we say, if you know better, you do better. So we got to really talk about the people who know better, who are doing better, and they're using love as the tool.
Hey, we got to go. Thank you so much for calling in. And we love you, and God is good.
We love you.
Miss Ayo, I thank you so much, sweetheart. You are just a gorgeous lady, and I can't wait to bring you back and have you to come and really just share some more information.
We give thanks. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I love you, Rodney.
I love you too. This is amazing.